What's up, plant family? Devin is here, and today I want to talk about sprouts. Sprouts are super easy to grow, they're delicious and chock full of nutrition. So in this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about sprouts, and then I'm going to show you guys how to actually make your own sprouts at home. Whether you live in a house, an apartment, a condo, if you live in a van, anyone can grow sprouts and enjoy their deliciousness in about a week's time. So, what are sprouts? Sprouts are essentially taking the seeds of what would become mature, fully grown plants after a few months, but rather than waiting for those plants to fully grow, we're actually going to harvest them after about 7 to 10 days. So imagine you could take a seed for a broccoli and you could grow it into a broccoli plant after a few months. But what we do with sprouts is that we will actually germinate them, and once they start to grow after about 7 days, that's when we consume them. And surprisingly enough, sprouts are significantly more densely packed with nutrition than that fully grown, mature plant would otherwise be. So I was reading on the American Heart Association that 1 cup of broccoli sprouts is equivalent nutritionally to 50 cups of fully grown broccoli that's been cooked and eaten. So you could spend, 5 days eating 50 cups of fully cooked broccoli, or eat a small salad of 1 cup of broccoli sprouts, and you'll get the same amount of nutrition. Furthermore, when plants are in that sprouting stage, they actually create an enzyme that allows us to digest carbohydrates, proteins, and also absorb the vitamins and minerals that are naturally found in those sprouts much more easily. So it's just more efficient, more effective, so that every bite we take is more fully packed of nutrition. And another thing is, if perhaps, let's say you don't like broccoli, which I don't know who doesn't like broccoli. Broccoli is one of the very best veggies. But if you don't like broccoli, the sprout version of a broccoli has a much different flavor profile. It's sweeter, it's a little bit nutty almost, and it's just very mild, palatable, and easy to incorporate into our daily eating regimen. Now, a few of the most common seeds that people use to grow sprouts would be alfalfa, which is probably the most common, most widely available, and also one of the nicest flavors. Broccoli, of course, beets, red clover, chickpeas, mung beans. All of those are very common seeds that can be used for sprouting. Now, just a quick note, sprouts and creating sprouts is different than microgreens, and I think sprouts are far superior because they're so much easier to grow than microgreens. All right, so now I'm going to take you on a tour of how to actually get our sprouts started and what you need to do every single day during the 5 to 7 days that it takes to actually create the sprouts. So I always like to start this in the evening time before bed because you need to let it soak overnight. So we need a special ball jar with these nice lids that allow for drainage. You can find them in the description below. So we're just going to put 2 tablespoons of our sprouting seeds in our 32-ounce ball jar. Then from there, we're going to fill it up with water, and we're going to gently rinse the seeds. Now, we're going to drain it, but we're going to be careful so that the tiny seeds don't fall out through the top. And then once we drain it, we're going to fill it back up with water, and then we're going to let it soak overnight for about 12 hours. And then in the morning, we'll go on to step 2. All right, so the next morning, about 12 hours later, we're going to empty out the jar of the water, just like so. And then what we're going to do is just give it some more water, give it a little rinse, and we're going to drain it again so that there's no water with the seeds this time. And then we're just going to let it sit out all day, just like that. All right, so here we are on day 3, and we're going to rinse and repeat. You can see the seeds are just starting to show a little bit of sproutness going on. So just fill it up, rinse those seeds, let it dry. And if you have one of these kind of rack things to let it dry for a few hours, that is even better situation. The morning of day 4, here we are again. Sprouts have grown even more. And just as a reminder, after we rinse and repeat, you don't need to put this in a bright sunny location. I have this in my kitchen, and my kitchen is kind of rather dim, so they don't need a lot of light when you are sprouting your sprouts. All right, here we are, day 5. The growth continues. Just gonna rinse it, wash it out just like we've been doing, let it dry, nothing new. And day 6, same thing. You can see they're growing quite a lot. We're almost there. Rinse it one more time, let it dry, and here we are, day 7. They're finally ready. You can see those 2 tablespoons of seeds have filled out the entire ball jar. I know you were incredulous, and so was I the first few times I did my sprouts, but here we are. We've created a full 32 ounces worth of our sprouts. Once they're dry, we can store them in the fridge where they'll be good for probably 5 or 6 days. All right, so now that we know how to make our sprouts, how do we actually go about eating them? Yes, you can just put handfuls in your mouth and that's quite delicious. My favorite personal way, we have a gas stove. So what I'll do is I'll lightly cook a tortilla. I'll put on a little veganese, which is like vegetarian mayonnaise, a little bit of cayenne pepper, some sprouts, and make a wonderful wrap. It's absolutely delicious. My wife, she loves sandwiches. You can just do some like sourdough bread with maybe some cheddar cheese, some tomatoes, some sprouts, and maybe a little bit of mayonnaise or veganese as well. Absolutely delicious. I also like to, if I'm having like a leafy green salad, maybe like kale or just like arugula, I'll put a few sprouts on top to just like supercharge the nutrition of the salad that I'm eating. And then you can also, if right now we're moving into soup season here in Westchester, Pennsylvania. So if you like to make soups in the wintertime, you can have fresh sprouts on hand anytime during the year and just put a few sprinkles of your sprouts on top. It's really not gonna change the flavor of your soup at all, but it's like adding just some extra nutrition to your soup. And one last thing to note is how cost effective it is to grow and eat sprouts at home. You can go to a health food store and buy sprouts. A pint of sprouts is typically gonna cost like $5 or so, and you really don't know how old they are, if they're really even still fresh. But when we're growing sprouts at home, of course, we know exactly how old they are, how fresh they are. You can get a 1-pound bag of alfalfa sprouts for less than $20. And that 1-pound bag is gonna fill like 20 to 25 ball jars full of sprouts. So you're talking like less than $1 per jar of sprouts. And that is so much cheaper than going and buying them at the store. And of course, if you're looking for some sprouts, some seeds, and as well, the ball jars with that special lid, just look at the description below and you'll find links to what I use to make my sprouts at home. If you do have any further questions or comments or experiences growing sprouts, your love for sprouts or your dislove for sprouts, please make sure to leave a comment in the comment section below. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me here on Plant Vibrations. Make sure you subscribe. We're bringing new plant-related content every single week. I'll catch you guys soon. Ciao.